Next Legacy.
Hey, y'all, it's your girl, Natasha Barshal, and you are now tuned in to the Danaya Azure Radio.
Good afternoon, Natasha, and welcome to Danaya Azure Radio. How are you?
I am doing good. How are you?
I am phenomenal. I was looking on your Instagram, and you have some amazing content, Miss Lady. So how did you – so you live in Denver, correct?
I am in Denver, yes.
Okay. So there's this whole huge thing about how Colorado is so amazing now because they were the first ones to legalize cannabis. But according to your Instagram story and the way the content is set up, it's a little bit of a different story. So first talk about how you got into community service and then talk about exactly what you do.
Absolutely. How did I get into community service? Good question. It was a saturation of pain. I have experienced trauma. I have had 7 losses when it comes to being pregnant that ended in a hysterectomy by the time I was 28 with no children. I experienced loss of a loved one. I was in a 11-year relationship where we fell in love through our womb space, and we loved each other very much. I don't want to disrespect that relationship, but in a sense it was toxic because, like I said, we both fell in love with having similar wounds, and we weren't healed for a large portion of our relationship, nor working on healing. So there was a lot of toxicity. And my grandmother passed away very close to the time I found out I couldn't have children, and it kind of woke me up a little bit that it was time for me to take accountability for my role in life experiences. And when I did that, I was able to lose over 200 pounds. I was weighing 356 pounds at the time of being told I couldn't have children. And with making that accountability choice, like I said, I lost weight, and my perspective just started shifting. The group of people I was around, my interests, and I like to say that I had the opportunity to get to know me, who I really am, what are my perspectives. And it wasn't that I no longer loved my partner, but I realized that it wasn't best for neither one of us. And I made a decision to walk away. And within a month of that separation, he passed away due to not acknowledging his mental health. And he was drinking and driving and was in a bad headspace, and it resulted in him passing away. That brought me to my knees. I seeked medical help, like going to therapy and doctors and expressing my emotional overload. And that turned into time in a mental institution and being told I was diagnosed with all these diagnoses. And the solution that was given to me was really highlighting taking medications. And that just didn't fit well with me. I was born in California, raised in Las Vegas. And from what I had seen growing up, I really didn't want to include medications with like how I coped with my trauma. So long story short, I ended up getting a job opportunity that turned into a promotion where I became executive chief of the marketing firm selling solar. I was part of the board, and they sent me to Medellin, Colombia. And I lived there for almost a year, about 9 months, 6 months, and then came back home and went back for another 3 months. And while I was there, I really took the time to get to know myself, and I experienced environmental change, behavioral changes, just being in a completely different place. I went without hot water, I went without cable, I went without internet, and I was really able to undomesticate and kind of like relearn. And I became very interested in giving back because I realized at the end of being in Colombia, that community and interaction with people and change and all of these things were really making huge differences in my life. And I was healing without feeling like I had to put work in. That's what ended up happening. Community was there. The change obviously was there because I went from America to South America, and it was just very different. And when I realized that, when I got back to the States and life kind of went back to normal, I made a point to implement what I learned and experienced being overseas. And I just got very involved in giving back. And I see myself in the houseless community, because what I see in the houseless community is an individual that has gotten to the point where they acknowledge they need help. They don't really care about the opinions and judgment that comes with asking for help. And there's, unfortunately, a dark side of that process before you get to the light. So I started spending a lot of time kind of just hanging out in the streets because I felt like I could relate to them, because I knew what that saturation of pain felt like. And I just became very active in my community, and I started hosting vision board events. And the outcome of the vision board events put me into public schools doing my vision boards, which then put me in an environment where I was surrounded by a lot of mentors and leaders and individuals that had experience with being nonprofit owners and being successful business owners. And I am officially a nonprofit and hosting our first Triggered Futures event this month. So that's my how, and then what I'm doing is exactly that. Still just on my journey of healing, and stuff is happening in the process.
Absolutely. And Natasha, the owner of Successful Minds, is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. So tell me about the Triggered Futures event.
Yes, absolutely. Triggered Futures is a gathering. It's a picnic, a barbecue, a family get-together. We are collaborating with the Colorado Village Collaborative. They are a nonprofit organization here in Colorado that is bringing tiny homes into Denver. So instead of houseless individuals experiencing what comes with being involved in shelters, you're kind of feeling more of the community aspect by taking advantage of the tiny home program. So they're providing the space, and my company, HD Visionaries, has brought together other community leaders here in Denver, and we will be providing free haircuts, free acupuncture, free massages, a full Thanksgiving dinner with side dishes that are being made with the ingredients from a local farm called Frontline Farming here in Denver, Colorado. They're donating all the food. We also have Southern Saucy Barbecue donating meats. We have Kelsey and her senior school project putting together a production with dancing and movement and an open mic opportunity to tell untold stories, to get things off your chest. And we're also putting together a storefront hosted by Sunshine Designs, where we will be providing mini makeovers, and people are able to grab whatever they like, and it's completely free. This event did not cost $1 from any of us. It's all donation-based and people just wanting to pour into the community. And the people within the community will be able to take advantage of whatever it is they feel called to take advantage of. It starts at 11 a.m., ends at 4 p.m., and we are so stinking excited.
And that is so amazing. I wish I lived in Denver so I could help. So if people want to donate, where do they go?
So I have Cash App and Venmo. My name on Cash App is $Abundant Natasha. And then it's just Natasha Barshal on Venmo. And any money that is earned will be, poured into providing new jackets or new shoes or, whatever it is food, giving tips to the catering companies that are doing donations. But really what we're asking for are people that are able to get undergarments or clothing. We're really not asking for financial help, not for this event at least. You could send positive energy and good vibes. And if you're listening to this and you're in the Denver area, or if you live somewhere where it's not too much to send, some jackets or something in the mail before the 19th, it would be very much so appreciated. But this is all from the heart, and the focus is really not about what we have to give materialistically or through with money. It's about showing up without any of that involved. So just listening to this interview means a lot.
Absolutely. It's interesting. So I met Natasha on the Viral Love Train on Clubhouse, which at this point y'all have heard that so many times. Shout out to TJ. The entire Viral Love Train team, it truly is. And she reached out and she was like, hey, I would love to do an interview. And so, of course, when people reach out to me, I double-check the IGs to make sure that that what they're doing is what I promote. And so I looked on there and I was like, oh, my gosh, this is powerful. This is beautiful. This is amazing.
Yay.
I've been doing community service since I was, 6. So, I've backed up a little bit now. Thank you. Backed up a little bit now, because of the pandemic and all that. But, I still do some community service. Yesterday, I was helping a friend, my girl Marilyn Pagan Banks. I was helping her to campaign for district council, which basically is an organization that will be overseeing the police in our city, and helping her to be a part of that council, because she's been doing community service for over 20 years, and she's one of the most qualified people I've ever known to be a part of that process. I'm saying things my
link
words
us up.
Yes, I can do that for sure. Because she travels the country, so I would definitely make sure that y'all connect.
I love
y'all have a lot of the same mission.
Yeah, I love my mentors. I love aligning with, other like-minded individuals, and it's really exciting when you aren't so focused on what am I getting out of it, like what you end up getting out of it. So thank you to you and your role in being involved in the community, and then also, your friend that's been doing this for 20 years. That's a blessing.
Definitely. I think the biggest thing about that whole situation is just the fact that we're going to be able to do some things in Chicago that should have been done a long time ago. But since it hasn't, it's okay. We can go ahead and take the reins and make sure that we have a better future for this city. So I'm super excited
100%. We wanted to host this event in June when it was sunny, because it does snow here quite a bit in Colorado, but you'd be surprised how many times we were told no. We had so many organizations and locations that were all for it, but as soon as we brought up the homeless community, a lot of these companies wanted nothing to do with it. So it definitely gets tough when you're trying to live from a space of love, because there is a lot of people that just haven't gotten to that point yet. So it gets, it gets hard sometimes, but I appreciate people like you. And what was the name of the woman you were speaking about?
Marilyn Pagan Banks.
Yes, Miss Banks. I appreciate people like you guys, because, to have the sun, you have to experience the darkness. So for you to be okay in doing that, it really does make it a better place. No matter if I physically live in your city or not, I'm feeling the effects of your work. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what has been one of your biggest challenges when it comes to your organization, and how have you been able to overcome it?
Really just what we were talking about. A lot of companies and a lot of, people that you get excited about collaborating with. I think once the money starts coming in or the business or the goals are getting reached, sometimes it's easy for us to lose sight of our why or the mission behind the business even being started. And just kind of getting my hopes up and then getting let down when they realize, like, what I'm saying is, like, really what I'm trying to do, and I'm not trying to just market it that way and then do something completely completely different. And I hate to bring it up. I'm not going to mention, names of organizations, but it's just a lot of people, corporations, individuals. A lot of us are distracted by capitalizing and what am I going to get out of it? And when you have a nonprofit organization, it says it in its title, like, we're not making profit. We're getting out of it fulfillment and experience and growth and an opportunity to expand, which does bring in abundance, and you do end up making money, but you have to, like, hold on to that and understand that there's, like, a cycle to receive abundance, to where you're not, like, yearning for it or lusting over it or craving over it or doing hurtful things to other people or going against your mission to get the money. If you really stay true to your mission and your why and do exactly what you started the company for, it may take longer, but you'll get there and abundance does come. So just, like, having to constantly remind myself of that on behalf of other people's perspectives or distractions, it gets frustrating at times, and it slows it down for sure, even more on my end. And it's already a long road, but it's a very fulfilling road. And it's a road that I wish more people would get, pull on to, because we're changing, like, what we're experiencing as people, what we're being taught as a nation, like, a lot of stuff is changing. And if we just completely lose sight of the little things, then we realize when it's too late that the big things kind of add too much weight and, like, squish and, like, damage beautiful things. So I hope that answers your question. How do I overcome it? I don't think I answered that part. How do I deal with that? I just stay very productive in being grounded and centered. I am very conscious on how I feed my body. I'm productive and being active. I'm around people. Like, I do things that serve my soul subconsciously, so that when I am hit with those type of moments or meetings or get-togethers where I'm let down because it's not the perfect collaboration, I could let that just roll off and know that it's okay and it's going to happen and it's going to continue to happen and just keep going.
Yes. Natasha, the owner of HC Visionaries, is my guest here on Danaya Azure Radio. When it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
Love, and to be remembered for not taking life or my loved ones or anyone for granted, and to really just make an imprint on sustainable change and the acknowledgement of mental health. Like I said, I lost a partner, and I also lost my dad April of this year. He was only 55 years old. And even though the paperwork says that he passed away from congested heart failure, he had stage 4 COPD, and he lost oxygen to his brain for 15 minutes. But the last 8 years, when my dad's mom passed away, and he was diagnosed with stage 4 COPD, and he lost his business, and he couldn't really move from one room to another without needing oxygen. He really focused on the negatives, and he didn't really have the tools and resources to figure out how to cope with the changes that were happening in his life. and he became very dark and full of fear. My mom and dad were married 39 years. Distance was created within their relationship. And I really just want, for the sake of my family and myself, with me, I have a time that I could look back where I didn't really understand my purpose because I couldn't have children. I lost a partner. I was to blame for his passing. My family was suffering from depression, and I just didn't really understand the point of even being here anymore. But like I said, through community and getting involved and change, I've really been able to learn how to heal. And I want my legacy to be me, whoever's left in my bloodline, like being taught how that we can experience really heavy trauma and still see the beauty in life and like make decisions that allow us to have opportunities presented to us. And I just want people to think of peace when I'm no longer here and I'm brought up.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and give your shout-outs and tell everybody where they can contribute to help your journey and everything that you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, hello. It's your girl, Natasha Barshal, and it is Winning Wednesday. You, my friend, are most definitely a winner. You could follow me on Instagram, which is where I'm the most active at right now. Natasha, that's NATASHA _ Successful Minds. I do have a podcast that will be airing on December 31st, so New Year's Eve.
Yes.
We will be having very similar discussions. It will be focused on mental health awareness, holistic healing, and the houseless community. And if you follow the Instagram, you will be able to see what upcoming projects and what all is coming up next. Right now, I don't really want to talk about too much, but yeah, that's me.
Awesome. I appreciate you for coming on. I know you're going to have an incredible event. Please live stream so I can tap in and show some love. But thank you. I truly, truly appreciate you.
Me too. I feel the same way. Thank you so much. And I can't, I love your content, and I'm tuned in to all the other interviews, so I'm not going anywhere, and I know that you and I will talk again.
I truly appreciate that, for sure. Thank you for your support of The Next Legacy. That's what's up. Yes.
Yes, of course. And the introduction, like how when I called the little music, I love it. I love everything that you're doing, and that's why I reached out to you. Like, I clicked on quite a few of the interviews, and I could just tell when it comes to, like, your why, there's an alignment between you and I, which is why I was in the inbox. And I want to say before I go, you guys, don't be afraid to throw yourself out there. Things don't happen unless people know you exist. And use social media with intention. Don't allow it to use you. Instagram is a 24/7 billboard, along with Clubhouse and Twitter. Really, really amazing things happen when you are authentic and you are truthful and you connect with other like-minded individuals. So that's how we got here today. I recommend you to do the same.
Next Legacy.